Top, top, top.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Brand, and I'm with one of the foremost truffle farmers in all of Provence.
Serge Aurel, producteur de truffes à Grignan.
I went to a truffle farm to see how truffles are actually cultivated and farmed. The doggie's name is Amy. Amy is a highly trained truffle dog. She knows just how to dig and where to dig to find the truffles for Serge, her master. And this is your truffle farm.
4 générations.
We're going to go on a tour and see how he farms the truffles. He's very minimalist on what he really makes on this farm, but that's okay. We're going to find out his techniques of farming and how he makes this happen, and all his good fortune carrying on the wonderful history of the French delicacy, the black truffle. 80% of the world's black truffles are grown in the southern part of France. Here is a map explaining all the different regions. All of this area is where they can farm truffles. Grignan is located between Lyon and Marseille, which is a French port on the sea. The truffle farm is just outside of Grignan. I went on a group tour through the countrysides of this region of France. The main crops here are lavender, wheat, truffles of course, sunflowers, and olives. Grignan is a castle town that has origins around the 9th century. The lordship of Grignan was established about 1032 after the death of the King of Arles, and with the history of France, there was a lot of taking over of territories. And around the 17th century, there was this madame married to the Lieutenant General of Provence named Mademoiselle Françoise Marguerite de Sévignan, the most beautiful girl of France. Well, the mother would never let the marriage create any distance between her and her daughters. So this is how the famous region connection begins in Grignan. The families wanted to live close together, even though they were both powerful, and they just kept connecting and connecting these castle towns. And then after the French Revolution, only the castle survived. That's the origin of Grignan, which is in the Drôme department in the Rhône-Alpes region in southeastern France.
It's his birthplace.
Vous êtes à 180 mètres d'altitude.
He's got a large farm of a few hundred acres in a really warm climate of the southeastern part of France. It doesn't get too cold because the black truffle likes it warm and dry. And truffles are very fragrant, and only a dog's nose can be trained to find them. That's why this doggie Amy is such an important part of this video. The dog's nose scent is powerful. It can smell the truffles. Dogs can have that. This video is really all about scents. But you know, the human nose has certain scents that it doesn't really want to smell. I reached out to Lumi to have them sponsor this video because a bad human scent is something you just don't want on your body. I'm so glad today that Lumi has sponsored this video. It's the perfect partnership for all of my travels. They sent me a whole travel kit because they know I love to travel. Not only do I use it at home, but I also use it when I travel, like on that flight. I went all the way over to the south of France, and I needed every single one of these because it'd be many hours before I could get to another shower. That deodorant products last for 72 hours. This is a stick deodorant, and this is the cream deodorant. And it's a whole body deodorant, which means when you do a lot of walking in shoes, you can really mess up the insides of your shoes with smell that's going to last forever unless you use a foot deodorant. Well, this is a whole body foot deodorant. And my feet are only one place where I use this. You might have other areas of your body that also need some deodorant protection, and this cream is the best. Many creases in your body are just places that can get smelly if you get hot. Lume deodorant can go anywhere. It's aluminum-free, baking soda-free, cruelty-free to animals, dye-free, and vegan. Lumi never uses aluminum, baking soda, phthalates, or sulfates. It was created by a gynecologist, and she knows the sensitive areas of a woman's body.
I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman, a board-certified OBGYN and the founder of Lumi, the world's first whole-body deodorant that you can use anywhere you have odor but wish you didn't. It's outrageously effective. Check us out and give Lumi a try today.
And in my shower, I love the acidified body wash. It's a clear gel that's unscented, it's powered by mandelic acid, it cleanses with an odor control. It's great for pits and privates and beyond. I've got very sensitive skin. So many of the products I've tried for really good odor control have had me breaking out in a rash, especially for places I shave. So Lumi is hyperallergenic, which is fabulous. It's great on everybody's skin. When I first heard about Lumi, I fell in love with it immediately. You had to love this ad.
Now, apply it like a lotion. Pits, under boob, thigh folds, butt cracks, feet. This water-based cream, I'm telling you, it's invisible on the skin. It works like a dream. Why didn't someone think of this sooner?
I have got to meet her and have coffee with her one day. Isn't she great? But it got me so interested I had to try it. The starter kit that I got not only comes with the 2 deodorants, the stick and the cream, it also comes with the body wash and the towelettes. Those towelettes are great for on the go, especially after you play sports. Keep them in your sports bag. As a special offer for my followers, new customers get $5 off a Lumi starter pack. Just use code Rebecca at the link in the video description. Or you can scan the QR code on the screen right now. That equals over 40% off your starter pack when you click the link below and use code Rebecca. Click the link below to get yours. I am thrilled with it, and I'm so happy someone's finally figured out how to keep odor away everywhere, top to bottom. Click that link. Now, let's go back to France.
Biscuit caresse, biscuit caresse, biscuit.
And Sergey had just explained how he trained Amy to be such a good hunter for truffles.
What did you have for lunch?
When Amy was just born, he used to put truffle oil on the mommy's nipples as the mommy was breastfeeding the little doggy. He wanted Amy to love the taste of truffles from the time he was just born. I thought that was fascinating. Later on, they put the flavor of truffles in pieces of meat for treats as Amy is learning how to dig and find these pieces of meat with the truffle scent. It's very sophisticated of how they train dogs to hunt truffles. And Amy's fun spirit was just joyful to watch. Now it was time to go on the farm to go hunt truffles with Amy. Amy started her hunt in the fields of wheat around the baby oak trees, which I thought was interesting. The farmer had just planted a few more rows of oaks. Well, then Amy found her way to the older oak forest, which really is going to hold more promise, but you just can't tell Amy that. She had to find it out for herself. So Amy starts to dig, and she continues to dig. And we all thought she found a truffle, but no, she had not. And she looks at everybody, and everybody's still looking at her with great anticipation. So she goes back to the hole and digs some more. Well, and Sergey had to explain to us that you have to have the dog drop the truffle and not eat the truffle. And then Sergey inspects the truffle. And on this very special day, Amy gets to have a little tiny sample of that particular truffle. That was very generous of Farmer Sergey. Amy rejects the truffle at this point. By this time, Amy just wants the biscuit that's been dipped in the truffle oil. That was just fascinating to me. She's rejecting a bite of the truffle. And that was enough. Sergey puts the truffle in his truffle bag. The truffles have a whole lifestyle so that when they're ripe, they turn very veiny and very, very dark black. They're black truffles. The truffle dogs are trained not to get the baby truffles, but to get the ripe, fragrant black truffles. So this is the cycle of the black winter truffles. They're collected in December and January, and by February the spores disperse through the ground, and then more spores germinate, and by April everything is growing and mixing, and by May they're having a fun party together, which means more little babies are being born. And that would be in June. The small truffles are formed, and by July the small truffles start growing bigger, and by August they're in a really rapid growing cycle. And by September they're growing, but October brings cooler weather, so they grow more slowly as they start to ripen in November for the ripe December truffles. Regarding the trees that can grow truffles, 3 main host trees are a French oak, they grow the black truffles, the holly oak does as well, and a European hazelnut. Those are the 3 main host trees used today for inoculation with French black truffles. So after the truffle hunting, we all went back to then taste the truffles. We'd walk through the beautiful countryside with the French poppies and the beautiful wheat fields, leading right back to where we would have our tasting. And on my nature path back, I even found a French snail. And then it was time for the tasting. At La Rabassiere, they sell little terrines of truffles that you can take home, and they wanted to give you a tasting of what you could make at home with their terrines of the truffles they sold. You have to pack a truffle coldly. You can't use any heat, so it'll keep its flavor. You want that flavor to impart on any of the vehicle you put forth. They had different types of olive oils they infused with the black truffles, and they spread it on these little toasts. That was delicious. They served it with some local wines, and I made friends with the people that were on my tour bus. It was a very happy, friendly group. It was the most wonderful tour. I just loved it. And Serge was so much fun. He was the perfect host for the tour. Then it was time to get back on the bus, and we went back to the town of Grenon. They have a Michelin star restaurant, and they are known for all the roses. It has an old rose circuit in Grenon that takes care of 400 rose bushes that have been carefully planted in the village to adorn the walls of the village like a set of glimmering romantic jewels. Each variety is labeled so you can look at every rose bush and see what it is. The roses are both old and new varieties. The roses are a major part of visiting this quaint castle city of Grenon. And in every castle city was always the water fountain. The water fountain was the place for all residents to come to get clean drinking water. This one had the Mademoiselle Marie statue. This was the Madame of Grenon. I walked and traveled through the cobblestone streets. The streets were so narrow, and then made it up to the top of the city, which was the church. I'm Rebecca Brand. I hope you enjoyed this tour of La Rabassiere, I'm just learning French, and the wonderful truffle farm. How interesting it was for me. I hope you subscribe to my channel and ring the bell to get notified of my next video, and let's keep making great recipes in life. And today, it's a recipe with truffles. See you next time.